Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
Charleston, Reiki, and Tarot in the house here once again. Our good friend, Dr. Laura Griffith Garland, joining us here today. Reiki Master, so many titles to mention. I'm going to have her say hello to you and tell us a little bit more about herself, because then she can get into the neuroscience thing too, which, yeah, she's got many specialties. Hi.
Hi. Thank you for having me, Jill. As always, it's lovely to see you. And Reiki Master, Shamanic Reiki Master. I do a lot of life coaching, a little tutoring on the side, and so much. If you want to move your life forward, that's what I've been working with a lot of clients with recently. And today's cards that we pulled actually really speak to that. So not as heavy today as we have been sometimes in the past. This is about growth. So growth, what does that mean? Well, growth is one of those topics that's super individual, because every single one of us is coming from a different place. And so our growth is going to be very, very particular to us.
Okay.
Some people have thought a lot about growth and think, I got to keep up with stuff, and I got to learn something new, and I got to go do stuff. And so today's thing may just be a reminder, oh yeah, I need to go do that. But for others, they may not have thought about growth so much since they got out of school. And unfortunately, that often leads to us feeling stuck, because growth, learning new things, doing new things is an absolutely essential part of being human. Our brain has to have that. And otherwise, we don't feel fulfilled. We don't feel like we're moving forward.
Yeah.
So we really, really need to do that. And if we've gotten into a stuck pattern, a boring existence, it's probably because we aren't growing right now. So what may growth look like? Well, for some, it could be very classic Western type of thing that we think about for growth, which would be, taking classes, specifically more like college classes, finishing a degree, getting an advanced degree, getting a certification. So a very intellectual type of growth. Which may involve specific skills that we need for work or something like this. And that is super important for our brain. So important that we force high school students to grow in this manner. When I used to teach high school, I taught algebra, advanced algebra, calculus, variously, depending on what was needed for the year. I picked up whatever class was needed. And my students would ask me, Dr. Garland, why do we have to take this? I'm never going to use this. I'm never going to use this.
Yeah.
Very true. Very small percentage of my students were ever going to go on and use it, especially my calculus students. But that wasn't the point. And unfortunately, so many of us are we've been enculturated to kind of diss intellectual pursuits, and not deem them important if it's not something that we need right now to get more money. And it's become a very Western mindset. But the thing is, with any intellectual pursuit of this nature, and algebra in particular, but anything like that, is it pushes the brain. Especially something like algebra, especially for a teen, it's about pushing the brain beyond the literal thinking stage into a more conceptual thinking stage. And this is one of the reasons why when you go to college, they make you take all of those random classes. It's about pushing the brain. So if you're...
They should have a class just on why we have to take certain classes, because I think that would be so beneficial, and less kids would complain. Like, why am I doing this? Doesn't make sense. And then they all complain to each other. No, it should be like an introductory to college type of class.
Yeah. Especially something like calculus, because a lot of degree programs do make you take a calculus class. Even if you're in business, you have to take business calculus. And it is really, calculus is super conceptual. My students used to complain that there were more words on their, more letters on their homework assignment for calculus than there was on their homework assignment for English.
Wow.
Because almost no numbers.
Yeah.
But this is about pushing the brain, and it's very important. It's growth. Okay, so you're out of high school. You finished your college degree. What are you doing to get your brain to grow? We know that continual learning is super important to keep our brain healthy. You've got to keep that brain healthy. My mom passed due to complications from Alzheimer's. And part of the thing is I know that she kind of stopped learning.
Yeah.
She did at some point. And it accelerated that. It accelerated that. Because she died younger than her mother did. And so we need to keep learning in some way. And if we don't stretch ourselves, we start to feel stuck. We really do. And life can get so tedious.
Yeah.
Now, you don't have to go take college classes. I'm not suggesting you go take calculus. not suggesting that. But do something. And what else could growth look like? Well, you could join a book club, cooking club, art club, dance studio, yoga studio, improv group. That one's really good for really reworking the brain. But what about, depending on where you are, rock climbing, or maybe hiking, or cycling, or sailing, meditation group, maybe Tai Chi in the park, or Qigong, martial arts, anything like this, because then you can work your mind, your body, and maybe your spirit, preferably all three. When we grow in all of that introduces new concepts to us, new ways that our brain is working. And this gets us free from some of that stuckness.
Yeah.
So find something to do that gets you off your butt on the couch.
Yeah.
Even if it is an online course and you're still sitting on the couch.
Yeah.
But at least you're doing something. Do something that you've really wanted to do and maybe hadn't gotten a chance, or maybe got blocked by COVID, or maybe haven't yet had the courage. And this gives us the push. Let's push ourselves a little bit. Really good time to start doing that. You don't want to be 5 years older and regret that you haven't yet done anything, that you're still stuck in the same place. In nature, if water doesn't move, it stagnates. And then we either get a whole bunch of mosquitoes or organisms start dying.
Yeah.
So not good. When humans don't move, when we stagnate, we get stuck. And that then can lead to depression, overwhelm, and a sense of barely surviving life instead of thriving. Or maybe it's just only at the level of tedium, and life just is so tedious. Almost all of my clients are actually in some form of this. I work a lot with stuck. It's something I work a lot with. A very, very central theme. So I have to get them moving forward in some way, because they all want to thrive. Everyone wants to thrive. I don't know anyone who comes to me and says, yeah, I just want some more boredom.
No.
Yeah, I do have people who come and say they don't want drama, but that's not the same as wanting boredom.
Yeah.
So the two supporting cards today actually kind of go to other parts of things that lead us to being stuck or can arise from not having a growth in our lives. And the first is a worry.
Yeah.
We can get really stuck in worry loops, like just worrying about thing after thing after thing, and we're just sitting there looping, worrying, and it becomes a habit, literally a habit to continually worry. Not good for your health, not good for your blood pressure, not good for a lot of things going on physically, that continual worry. But it really can get you stuck in a place. And then we try to cover it up. And that might be substances. So maybe alcohol, maybe cannabis, maybe sugar, that pint of Ben and Jerry's. Yeah. Oh yeah.
I got M&Ms downstairs. Sorry. I had my son packed them in my bag. You don't understand. We found Christmas M&Ms yesterday that are still good, but a brand new pack. And they're ready. They're good until November. So they're like, hey, Mom. And I'm like, and so I took them with me. Guilty.
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Stress. I'm a stress eater. I'm a stress eater. Yes.
Sugar in small doses, occasionally great. It is, but it's delicious. But sugar in repeated amounts suddenly can lead to weight gain, chronic diseases popping up. It's one of the things we cover with, though. We cover stuff up, and all we're doing is kicking the can down the road. We're covering up our worry, getting rid of it for a little bit with some sort of substance, or maybe it's binge watching something. Cover it up with binge watching. We do a lot of these things, and we just keep looping, and then go cover up. Loop, cover up. That it doesn't get us out of unstuck. We've got to do something, and worry is a habit. So you can actually break a habit and replace it with a better habit. Maybe the better habit's meditation. Oh, wait, we're into growth. Or maybe it's going to Tai Chi in the park. Again, some growth. Or maybe it's out climbing rocks, if that's your thing, or a climbing wall, or cycling, or whatever it is to get you to change the habit, to move to a better habit so that we're growth. And then we don't feel stuck anymore.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Absolutely amazing what happens. Action. You gotta take action. Now, then I have other clients who might be in tedium. They might actually have a life that looks like it's really successful. I have one right now. I've had a couple over the years. I have one right now. Owner of a big company, doing really great, but his life is tedious at this point, and he has reached a state of inu. Ooh, you don't usually get to use that word.
No, I don't even know the definition. Can you tell me? Is it ENU?
Kind of. I'm not great at spelling. It's my absolute worst thing. There's an actual extra N in there. I think there's an I in there somewhere.
Okay.
Wow. Somebody's going to write something terrible about that. But spelling is my worst subject because I'm slightly dyslexic. But Inu is that tedium, boredom, just where you just sit there and kind of sigh, and you're almost without a lot of sensation of feeling, just bland, really.
Okay.
And so I have a client like that. Life has gotten so tedious, so boring that he doesn't feel a lot unless he goes out and does this extreme sport to jack up his adrenaline.
Yeah.
Also, that's just kicking the can down the road.
So true.
It's not actually fixing the problem. So we've been really working on what he wants to grow with, what he wants to do next, how he wants to put excitement back into his life. And it's started working for him. He came in really perky last week, which was the first time I've seen him perky. So working on this is just really important for people. And it doesn't matter whether you're in that worry loop or whether you've gotten to this extreme boredom stage, you're still stuck. And usually are using some coping mechanism to just keep that covered up and kicking it down the road. So if you're in the habit of worry, we can break your habit of worry.
Sure.
Breaking a habit by yourself is super difficult often. So having an accountability partner can be really useful with that. And that's where like a coach comes in. Where
I was going to say, I'm sorry, but a lot of people find help with their friends or family not always the best accountability partners from experience. Can you explain why? But some people make that mistake.
Oh, yeah. Family in particular knows all your buttons.
Yeah.
So when they're acting as an accountability partner, they're more likely to push buttons that send you into some sort of emotional response rather than building you up to move you forward. The same goes with, say, a spouse or significant other. They often know a bunch of buttons too, and they may not mean to do it.
Yeah.
Like your mom may have the best intentions, but she still ends up pushing those buttons.
Yeah.
Or, your spouse may have the best intentions, but instead it comes across as nagging.
Wow.
And so that's really difficult. Friends may or may not be great for accountability because they may instead say, hey, let's go out to the bar to try to get you broken out of something, and or go out dancing or, and that's not going to help necessarily. Other ways. So choosing someone who is not, or they may be overly invested too, by the way. People may be way overly invested. And so that can make them really pushy. And the energetic feel there can just be really heavy and tense. And that's not what you want when you're trying to shift something big within yourself, like a habit of worry or a pattern of doing adrenaline building things that don't actually fix the problem. When you're trying to work on that, heavy energy, tense energy isn't going to help.
Yeah.
It just is not. And as a coach, I'm invested in helping you, but I'm not going to be pushy,
Pushing.
naggy. I'm going to gently do reminders. And we're going to set it up on a pattern that you like, that you want, that works for you, that actually elevates your energy so that you can push through, so that you can break the habit, move the pattern, shift what you need to shift within yourself. And that's why a coach is different, because we don't know the buttons.
Huh?
We're going to ask.
It's like neutral territory, which is so
exactly. We're going to ask you what works best for you, and not just think we know better.
Got it.
Now you can ask us, well, what does that mean? And I can give you examples, and then you can be like, oh yeah. That works for me. That other thing doesn't. No, please do not ever email me. I can't stand email. I'll never look at it. Okay, so I'll never email you. And I have some people that are like, oh, please don't text. I have 1,000 texts that come in every day. Don't ever text me. I'm like, okay, I won't ever text you. Some people like getting a little emoji. Yes, please send me, here's my group of emojis that really kind of just make me laugh and draw me out of when I'm in some sort of weird cycle, draw me out of it. Just send me that occasionally, and that'll be absolutely awesome. So, what is it that works for you? And on top of that, we have an outside perspective. So being a coach, I'm not involved in your life. I don't know every single thing that's happened since you were born. But that outside perspective, that third party perspective on everything that's going on, can often be really enlightening. I know when I work with my coach, sometimes he just says something and I'm like, don't. Why did I not think of that? It is because I'm in my stuff. But he's not in my stuff.
Wow.
And so he will just say something and I'll just be like, oh yeah, duh. Why didn't I think of that? I know that. I'm a coach. I know that. But no, it just didn't click for me. So yes, I have my own coach because I want to grow always. Oh, that is my thing. So when this came up today, I'm like, oh, cool. This is one of my things. Really growing in all kinds of different ways. And again, you want to grow mentally, emotionally. I didn't really mention that, but we want to grow emotionally. We don't want to still act like we're 14. 14 was a rough year. We want to grow physically, okay? Because we got to move. If you don't move, parts of your body do start to grow. Oh yeah, that tummy.
Happens with age. Hormones, all the above.
Yeah. So we don't want that. We don't want that kind of growth. Not that kind of growth. Unless of course you're pregnant, and that's what it's all part of what you're supposed to be doing. But physically, we want to grow in our skills of our hand-eye coordination, or our strength, or just our overall physical fitness. Spiritual growth is really super important for the human condition. Having some form of connection that you have, whatever that may be for you, supports the human condition. And so growing that way is really important too. And all of those things can get us from feeling unstuck, gets us unstuck. So that's my little pitch today.
Speaking of stuck, are you better? I have a bad cold. It's not COVID, so I think, but you were down and out over a month ago. Are you fully recovered?
Yes, I think. Although yesterday I was a little fuzzy, so I'm not sure if that was like a leftover COVID thing or just I was fuzzy yesterday.
Got it. All right. Yeah. Because now my ears are so clogged. But
Oh, I'm so sorry.
if someone wants to reach out to you for a session, would you mind sharing how we could do that, please?
Sure. Direct
Thank you.
email. So drlaura.coach. So that's drlaura.coach@gmail.com. Or they can phone our main office number at 843-259-8349. And I'll answer, hi, this is the Charleston Holistic Center. So,
And should I say don't email her? She doesn't like emails. I learned that.
you can email, but calling will get to me probably faster.
Good. And any big plans for Memorial Day this weekend? Do you have anything going on?
No, not really.
Just an extra day off?
No, actually not, because we don't work Mondays. We work Tuesday through Saturday, so we never
So
get
it's
Monday
your normal
holidays.
schedule. All right.
Yep.
Got it.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much. And by the way, the other services you offer, could you point out, you offer a lot.
Yeah. I do tarot. I do Reiki. I do shamanic Reiki. And then I'll combine those. So I do tarot and shamanic Reiki all together, which is really super cool. And then also do tutoring on the side, math and sciences, junior high through high school and college. So
Can you do calculus, Calc 1, Calc 2, Calc 3?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, wow. Good to know. All right. I was thinking about going back to school to get another degree. I have a master's in communications, but I was looking into a meteorology program, and I noticed now they want Calc 1, 2, and 3. And I'm like,
Yes.
huh? I got to relearn all that. My brain is fried. I guess I can relearn, but I will
Sure
need a
you
coach.
can.
Yeah. Oh my
Sure
gosh.
you can. You can learn. You
It's
can learn it
so
all again.
scary. Wow.
It is. It
You're
can
that
be.
smart. She could do calculus. Oh my
Well,
gosh.
I did used to teach nuclear physics for the Navy. So
Yeah. I know. So pretty intense. All right. I may need your help with that. Or need a Reiki session. And by the way, every day, every week before we speak, you pull upon your tarot cards to talk about what we're going
I
to
do.
talk about for the day, right?
I do.
All right. Well, thank you again. Have a fantastic week and enjoy your regular weekend with the extra day.
And you have a lovely Memorial Day weekend.
I
And
will. As soon as I start feeling better, I hope a few more days.
All
Thank
right.
you, hon. Have a great day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Are you looking for even more of the podcasts and hosts that you love? The Podcast Business News Network is proud to announce that you now have even more ways to listen live. Check out the MyTuner Radio, online radio box, and Simple Radio apps on iOS and Android, or find us online. Search for Business News Network on mytuner-radio.com, or search Podcast Business News Network on streama.com and onlineradiobox.com/US. Take your podcast on the go and don't miss a minute of the action.
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.
For nearly 2,000 severely injured veterans, everyday life has become filled with barriers.
Day-to-day simple tasks can become pretty daunting.
I have to carry my chair up 2 flights of steps or have somebody do it for me.
What scares me the most is just the falling.
When I'm struggling with my house, I think, to have that one great barrier just knocked down, it's crucial.
Home for Our Troops is a wonderful nonprofit that builds a
mortgage-free, fully adaptive, handicap-accessible house.
And there's no catch.
It'll be our very first home that we've ever owned. This is a game changer.
This is where your life begins again.
We need you to join us in completing this important mission. Please visit hfotusa.org and help build homes and rebuild lives.
Because of you, everything's going to be okay.